Let's move on quickly to the last story. Alleged Nungwa child marriage investigations must consider cultural practices. And this is Professor Raymond Atuguba speaking. Now, let me just quickly read you portions of that story. And it says here, Professor Raymond Atuguba, the Dean of the University of Ghana School of Law, is urging the investigative bodies tasked with probing the marriage between the 63-year-old Babu Lomo and the 13-year-old Na Okromo to consider the cultural practices of the people in coming up with an appropriate action to be taken. Now, I'll jump down and quote him. He says, as a proud person, if you hear a 16-year-old is being betrothed, the first step is to take it seriously and investigate it. If it's an allegation, you can't allow it to pass. You have to investigate it and then take appropriate action. He said this on the big issue on Citi FM and Citi TV on Saturday, April 6th. He argued that a thorough probe may unravel some key factors that brought about the marriage and may likely reveal that those claiming to be culturally upright may know nothing about the Ghana culture. I quote, whatever investigation is going on must include an investigation into the authentic cultural practice that is at play here, because I can bet the shoes on my feet that a lot of us, including those who purport to be articulating the culture, may not really know what that authentic culture is and its purpose, he told Salam Adonu on the show. Then the story goes on, and we can go and read that. But let me just come to you quickly.
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Capital Kansi. My great-grandfather emanated from Amasama. I am Ghana and proud. In fact, I am Ghana and proud. As a people, our great-grandfathers taught us one thing. It's a principle we live by. We say, Ablekuma, Ebakumawo. We don't live alone. We live with people. We welcome all people. Facts remain. We welcome our equals and those who become our subjects. We have never welcomed superiors before. Nobody is above the Ghana state. I'm repeating it. We welcome our equals and respect our equals. And we respect people who also come to serve us. We have never welcomed superiors before. And it goes back to history. Talk about the Katamanso War. If you come with peace, we are with you. If you come with war, we stop you. It's in history. I'm not saying it. And you know, that's why we say Ablekumaba Kumawo. The Gbobu Wulomo is a spiritual head and the custodian of the Ghana state. We started this chieftaincy thing along the lines. But the Wulomo is the head and the leader. And this Wulomo is the supremo for the whole Ghana state. Nobody can change that. So let me, before I go on to this matter, let me say, as the Ghana tradition taught me, as I've been trained to know, that no more mimbi abifa ojimi ina cheko mingblas and jiamin keke. I actually just mimbi ode omanye. So what I just said is that I am an infant. I cannot speak. I don't know anything, but I'm only going to explain a few things. That's what I'm telling the Babu Lomo. I'm an infant, and I'm asking blessings from him. So I am an infant, but my equals in age are speaking against the Babu Lomo, and I want to humbly send a warning to them. Just as they revere the leaders in their land, we the Ghana people, we have leaders, and we must let it go to people. We have not sold Ghana land, so we have leased them, and people must know that they live here as tenants. That's why during Omowa, what we say is what happens. Let's go into this matter, and I'm not equalizing or defending anything. I'm giving the facts as it is. Go to religion. How old was Jesus Christ when he started preaching? About 12 years?
His first engagement was 12 years.
Thank you. In the royal family, how old was Queen Elizabeth when she took over the throne? You may want to go and read about it.
Yeah. I think she was very young.
Let me tell you, in Nungwa itself.
I think she was like 20.
In Nungwa itself, one of, the leading chiefs, when he was actually installed, he was in school. So that's how come you have the Nungua Secondary School.
Okay.
Yes. The people of Nungua are enlightened. They know how to arrange traditions, and when it comes to thinking, we have done it before. They have done it before. So a chief was installed, he was too young, and that's how come you have the Nungua Secondary School, and corrections can be done later. So let the people know that when we say tradition, the young lady, like Professor Atuguba, good morning, Prof. You've always been a wonderful thinker. What he said, he even said some of the chiefs who are speaking, look, in every part of the world, there is politics. And so there are groups that will not even like who is sitting on the throne. The Babu, even in the house, the Babu Lomo, may have people who don't like him. So if you have seen the video of a young lady, I have it here, when she was dancing, well, I can't use only pictures to show ages, okay? But, you know, that young lady doesn't look to me a 12-year-old.
Okay.
She's more like a 15-year-old, but it is about tradition. At what age? We are seeing some people who sit in front of some chiefs in this country. Very young people, 11,
Yes.
10-year-old.
Yes.
Have you seen them before?
Yes.
So that means they won't go to school again. No, I'm asking you, does that mean they are not going to school again?
Well, we presume that they're actually in school.
And so you hear that of the Babu Lomo talking about a deity, marriage, and they are talking about betrothing to the deity. You don't go close to them and go and ask, look, even the term investigations, you can't come and investigate my Ulomo. It's a fact finding. You are going to ask him, he will explain to you our culture. He's a supremo.
But in English, that's investigation.
Well, I'm saying
it's not mercurial, it's not adversarial.
It's not criminal.
It's not criminal in nature. It's just finding out.
Yes.
Yes. So it's still an investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
But I prefer you want to go a fact find.
Okay.
You can't come and investigate my woman on authority.
Okay.
And in all seriousness.
Okay.
And in all due respect. You want to go and ask fact finding.
Okay.
And it's not even the Wulomo to answer to you. His subjects. He will not be answerable. He will not be answerable because he will not even perpetuate the wrongs. He knows his tradition. He knows what is right. He has children. He has grandchildren. This is what the traditions demand. If you want some facts, they will explain.
Yeah.
And they will explain to you that this young lady will still have access. It is not only the classroom that training goes on. After maybe at 50, maybe she exited DHS, she can be learning a trade. Akasi Onikpe, Akasi Oyubo. You know, we can learn the trade of, you know, weaving the hair, doing those things, fashion design. They are all part of it. Skills training is one passionate area for me. And so this young lady, I'm a feminist. I think she's going to be groomed well. She needs some more training, further training. Go and ask. You see the arrangements they have. When you listen to the video, the woman might have gone overboard with some of her comments. But I mean, when you have some questions, go and ask the questions. But I've heard young people denigrating and speaking ill of a Wulomo. Look, just as we have the laws in their own backyard, in the gun state, there are laws. Any young man, with all due respect, this platform, this is not from Citi FM, from me as a guy, any young man who insults the Babu Ulomo, we have the police stations. We can report them if we want. But the traditions can also tell you that you have to leave when the time comes. Because the best we can do for you is when you insult the authorities of our land, we'll ask you to leave. That is the best we can give you. You know what I mean? Imagine we are sitting here, we are chatting, and somebody comes here, this is your house.
Yeah.
And he comes and he's insulting just because he owns the store on one of your plots here.
Yeah.
I mean, the best for peace will be for him to relocate. So we want them to know that they are welcome by our own ancestors, what they taught us. That ablekuma, ebakuma. We move with the people. We are with the people. My brother once asked me, when would the guy be in the seat of government to be the president? But I told him that we are eating with visitors. We serve visitors first. And of course, we are eating with children. So the children must eat first. That's why we say, we are even so good that even if you are not married, we can even, like in the Bible, like God told David, if you had asked me, now I'm telling Mr. Thompson, if he had asked me, I would have given him one of the Ghana beautiful women to marry. I mean, my sisters are very wonderful, but he didn't ask me. So unfortunately,
we appreciate you for your largesse.
But let's go and look for the facts around the matter. I'm sure the Ghana people, I saw one of the Wulome engaging that Kofi TV, explaining things to him in Chi, and we spoke really good Chi. I mean, explaining to them, it's not because we are feeble, but it's because as part of our love for humanity, Ablekuma, Abakuma.
Okay, you have the last word, but let me come back to Mr. Thompson. Yes.
Yes, Kojo. I mean,
you keep calling me Kojo. I don't know whether there's a Kojo in your life that.
Kojo, sorry. You know, this issue. First of all, I want to commend Professor Atuguba for, you know, inciting this clarity in the thoughts of and the clarity around this conversation. I think the media has not helped us a lot in this matter. A lot of the brouhaha around these issues were due to the wrongful reportage from the media. And that triggered a lot of sentiments and a lot of, even international human rights, if you like, perspective to the matter, which agitated or, brought out the widespread condemnation and the public commentary that came afterwards. Because the report was that the Wulomo has married
a 12-year-old
girl. That's the story I read.
Yeah.
Until later, we all found out that no, it was part of a cultural or traditional practice. The young girl has not even been married, but has been given to a deity to serve the deity, which is part of the Ghana tradition. It's a practice that they have been doing. Of course, there are human rights aspect of this case. There are child rights aspect of this matter because we live in a democratic state, and so the laws on the protection of children would definitely come into perspective in respect of this conversation. But what the traditions of the people, this is not the first time this is happening.
No, at all.
It's a tradition that goes on. And so why was the story so sensationalized to the point that it elicited the sort of response?
Is it not because the age in which we live of social media and social media, all the things that come out of that, a video comes out, we see the video as is and interpret it as is, right? I want Kabudi to respond to this one, but I am just curious that why is it that the elders that were seated in that inner room there when the Ochiame was saying the things that she was saying, they did not stop her? You see, because I think it has also fed into all the
reportage.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. But then again, I think that a lot of the people around the ceremony did not anticipate that
the backlash that will come.
There was going to be even the whole event was going to receive this widespread publicity that would then even ask people. I'm sure the lady would have probably been corrected behind the scenes or after the event, and nobody wanted to interrupt her during the traditional process. But, I think they didn't anticipate. But I think it's a lesson for the Ghana state and the Ghana traditions to also understand that through no fault of theirs, they are the custodians of our administrative capital. And Accra has become largely cosmopolitan with different ethnic groups, different tribes, different people from different places. And so the perspectives of the people living here are different. It looks like, to a very large extent, that the Ghanaians are even in a minority if you look at the number of settlers. If you put all the settlers together,
it could be possible.
It could be. And so a lot of the people living here do not understand the customs and traditions governing the Ghana state. And so it's a lot of responsibility on them to, as a, from time to time,
To educate.
provide public education,
All right.
find mediums, to provide public education to people to understand some of their practices.
Okay.
But the final point I also want to make is that cultural practices are not static, they are dynamic. And so this is not just for the Ghana state, but also for all other, cultures in the country, within the jurisdiction that, let's begin to look at some of these cultural practices. Let's look at its impact, right? First on society, first on the rights of children, first on other participants and citizens, and see if there's a way some of these cultural practices could be modernized or adjusted, to respect rights, to to provide inclusion, and also, if you like, conform to the developing norms of our society. And I think that is where the balance must be drawn.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Finally.
Right, finally, while appreciating their concerns and applauding their responses, let's note one thing. Ghanaians, that's why they say for every misfortune, sometimes there's a blessing. Ghanaians showcase their dislike for early child marriage and all. It's an alert system, and I loved it. It's good. Just at the utterances and the approaches that some people, adopted was wrong. Like he said, some of the media people also, and it was a trigger. I mean, you have to put an age to it. In this country, we have seen people decide to use ages like 12, 13, just to have people go to jail. After there's a case of, they will say defilement. And then when you go and investigate, these children are about 18. I have people who know about some of these things. And look, the Ghana people have showcased also our tolerance. In some parts of Ghana, and see my face here, in some part of Ghana, they would have been jumping on tables. But they should note this, we'll be tolerating. It won't be forever. Let me tell you what, people must respect us because we love and respect them. Bench on the principle that our forefathers taught us. Now let me a final note. This one is very important. People don't know. Accra is our village. Some of the people don't know. Let them know today, this morning. Just as they have their village where they live. Accra, Otubloum, Osu, Labadi, Nungwa, where they have come to build the mansions, is our village. So this we can that is our village, and we want to travel with some of them to their village. I'm very angered. I'm controlling myself. Some of them we've been to their villages before. We've been to places where when you get down, you can't even walk to get water. Common ball, they don't have it. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm saying people should be measured. Look, yesterday, Nico Joboni, chiefs stood and fought for our independence. But we've kept quiet. We don't do the what. Sajajete. Those were the people. The routes. We started it. We led it in the finish. Some people's own that you heard their people, they were mentioning their warriors. Their warriors fought to protect their land. Our warriors fought to protect Ghana and to win for us independence. And chiefs were in the fore. Nico Joboni. I repeat again. Nico Ablaboni. I repeat again. So please, we are a people, peace-loving. You come here, you see some of the structures, you come and tell us, Omar, say, this is our village. I'm a Saman, where the people are building their machines. That is my village. Okay? Where you are building the resorts at Ada, that is my village. So don't go and build a 21st century mansion and look down on that building next to you. Go and compare the one in your village to that one in the Jamestown, Tubloum.
It's okay, we're back.
Right, thank you very much. This has been the News Review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Just speaking right now was Jeffrey Kabutio-Kanse. He is the Executive Director for Revenue Mobilization Africa. And I also have on the set this morning Mensa Thompson, who is the Executive Director for what's the name of your organization, Crapo? It's called ASEPA. It's Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability.